We're almost there.
Oops.
I'll pull it up on the board.
I don't have any.
I don't have
No.
any trucks, so I don't have any extras.
I usually have a couple pairs, actually. I don't know at the moment. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
wing
they're
it.
upstairs. Okay, we're ready.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe. You're right on time. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect timing.
Why is that picture so much better than you?
I know, right? Looks good, doesn't it?
What did you do with your hair?
Oh, just kidding.
Walk this afternoon.
He got it.
Sorry, I have a picture of the chickens. Sorry, it was just.
And is the screen level now?
I don't know. It looks a lot nicer than it has.
Complained about it at the last meeting.
Did you?
Yep, I said,
Okay.
you guys have anybody that can fix that screen so it's not crooked?
It's always been crooked.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah,
Fix it.
looks nice. Thank
Just got
you.
a bitch, that's all.
Okay, everyone, it is 4:30.
Sorry.
We have a quorum. Welcome. This is the regular monthly board meeting for the Tioga County Industrial Development Agency. It is Wednesday, November 2nd, yikes, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. The meeting is hereby called to order. Christine, could we do a roll call, please?
Jen Checarelli.
Yeah.
Kevin Gillette.
Yes.
Martha Sarbright. Here. Tracy Manell.
Yes.
Aaron Gowen.
Yes.
Eric Knowles. Absent, excused, and John Ward should be coming.
All righty. No privilege of the floor. All right, I'm seeking a motion to approve the October 5th board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to financial. Aaron, do you have any comments?
No, looks good to me.
Everything looks good. Everything's perfect.
I don't know about perfect. I will never say that.
Seeking a motion to acknowledge the financials, please.
So moved.
How about a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Leanne, you're up already.
Okay, so we are waiting to hear on several grants. I am pleased to announce that our New York Forward application, that was the mini DRI for the Village of Waverly, made the shortlist. And we were able to work with the Village of Waverly to put together a presentation presented to the Regional Council last week. Dr. Knowles and Mayor Ayers emceed it, and we worked with Deluge Media, again, the same guy that did the Team Tioga video, put together a video for us for the Village of Waverly for that presentation. I think it was well received. So we're waiting to hear on that. There were 5 presentations made. We are one of 5. It could go a number of ways. They will either award 2 for 4.5 million, or they'll award 1 for 4.5 and 2 for 2.25, or any mix thereof. So we're hoping, obviously, that number 1, we're awarded, number 2, we get 4.5, but that remains to be seen. Also waiting on round 6 of Restore New York. We did assist Fuddy Duddies in making an application for. They purchased the Hand of Man building from Adam and have plans to move their business over there with a lot of improvements. So we're waiting to hear on that. The Land Bank made a Restore New York application for the Tioga Trails building with the intention of getting the building secure, fixing the roof and the bricks, at least immediately to, at that point, then see if they're able to encourage some sort of development of that building. Still waiting on the 2 IDA applications made for Lounsbury Engineering Study and the Raymond Hadley Water Study out in Spencer, and waiting to hear on the Best Bev ESD Capital Grant. So I would expect anytime now we should hear on any number of these, but they're the ones that we're really keeping a close eye on. Right now, we have identified 13 potential grant opportunities. We have 28 actual applications that are pending and 38 that are active that we're assisting with. So a very, very, very busy active grant season right now. Town of Nichols broadband project is moving along. People have signed up. I was able to do a little interview with WENY. talk about it. And we're having another community meeting on November 10th to continue to try to get the word out as they continue to replace poles. They're replacing over 300 poles. And extending the fiber, they're going to be extending within the village. That'll be their next focused area. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll see some more fiber being actually put up. A Racker, I wanted to announce that Team Tioga was honored with a Racker Community Partner Award. So we were able to, a few attend that presentation. That was very nice and much appreciated. Village of Waverly and Village of Owego EV charging stations are moving forward. So thanks to the village and county for allowing that to happen. I've responded, the team has responded to 2 manufacturing leads. One looking at the Matco building that's now owned by Adam Weitzman. There's potential for 175 jobs there. And then one in R&D manufacturing, looking to relocate their headquarters here. We're on the fringes on that one right now. And on here, Paul Barber is a potential candidate.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
The building.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Adam's parking his trucks now. That's what that building was originally.
Yes,
It was
Before my
SCI.
times.
It was
it
SCI.
was, oh, well, yeah, it was SDI, it was Harvard, it was a Steel Flash, and
Then we ran out of grant money, so we, now Adam owns it, I get it.
now Adam owns it. We
Perfect.
tried to buy it, but anyway.
Thank you.
Something kind of fun. I reached out, I watched Magnolia Network. And there's a guy on there, there's a guy on there called Clint Park, who works with hardwoods and things, and he's got a show on there called Restoration Road. And what they do is they go around to old barns
Oh.
and dismantle them and take them someplace else and put them up again. So I reached out to Luke Larson, who actually does a lot of this work with him out of Green Mountain Timber Frames, and he called me back. So he wants some pictures, so we're gonna go out and take a few more pictures and send to him and see if there's any interest in it, so. we'll see what happens. One of my favorite shows.
There's asbestos in it.
Yes, actually, Christine shared the asbestos report with me. I sent that to him, so immigrant. I was wondering the status of the wetland on the rest of the east side, the wetland report, where's that at?
I meant to put that on the agenda today.
Okay,
So it was,
it's been
We've-
completed?
yeah, we voted. So at least 90% or more is wetland. There's a little back section furthest from 434 that is not. I didn't include that in the agenda.
Is there a picture that they might have sent you?
They sent me a map, yeah. Let me pull it up.
My question, I guess, would be, if this is a completed report, would this board be okay with my sharing that with Port with interest next door?
You say it.
That was the idea.
90% wetland, yeah.
No, I mean, well, you know, I could probably not, but I would need to share that with them and say,
Give it
this
to
is,
me.
this is what it is.
We talked about it before. I mean, he had to know that.
Okay, so if you're all are okay with that, then I'll
Can I-
let him know.
Yeah.
Can I email that to you all later?
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
We didn't get the.
Our time, but go ahead.
The guy wants the property, but I can't believe he's gonna take it if it's wetland.
Right. So I would just like to share that with him. if y'all
Although
are okay with it.
If he's willing to buy some wetland somewhere else, then
He can,
he can do what he wants with it.
that's right, or put money into the fund.
But
That's
it's
what
like
Owego Garden does.
$90,000 an acre or something.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
So we didn't get the finalized report yet. I'm sorry, just that map showing.
Okay, so we'll wait till we get the finalized report. then. Okay. That's it for now.
I had read in the paper, I have a question for you, that Britt went to present to the Village of Owego Board. And she had mentioned that there might be a new developer for Liberty Temple Street.
Yes.
Yes. She went representing the land bank. I sat in the meeting. So she did. maybe an opportunity there. We'll
Mhm.
see.
We made a visit with village representatives as well as land bank representatives to similar community in Elmira.
Hmm.
So maybe we'll see how long it takes
I hope
the
so.
village to scare this one off, but
I zeroed right in on that. I was very excited.
However, I did share that, okay, this is 3 times they told us no.
Hmm.
What'd they say?
which.
They were open to more discussion, and some of the board members actually went on the tour, but there's one that is.
Mhm.
We'll see.
But I said,
Just one, there's two.
I
Yeah,
think that there's
but-
two.
There's two.
while I was there with them, with a couple of the other board members, they said, well, you know, we've got one that's a problem. And I said, yes, but there are 4 more of you.
Hmm.
Gotta get it back.
Row something.
Yeah.
You don't always have to vote and sing, right?
That's
No.
like, it's like Troy Aikman saying, take the dresses off, dude.
So it's like, they just get tired of hearing this person talk. And so they acquiesce. Well,
Been
we've
there, haven't we?
learned that you just shut that person up and move ahead.
Yeah, but you gotta have somebody that will shut them up,
So,
Exactly.
thank
and if
you.
nobody will,
This meeting's being recorded, by the way. Keep
I
that
take
in
that
mind.
back.
Just a reminder. Oh, oh, boy.
don't have to be here.
It might be some other person.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Leanne. Christine, moving along, what's it?
Okay, so
Something for you.
Owego Gardens 2 updated cost spreadsheet. So what I added here are the prior asphalt change order we approved wasn't here, so now our extra asphalt change order and all other 4 that you all approved throughout the month. Raising contract B to 879.34.
Well, thanks for adding that chlorine in. I see there, 812, yeah,
Yeah, that second piece.
yeah.
And then added to Suez, I added our tentative likely reimbursements on some of the new work that's been identified. So they're likely but not confirmed yet to reimburse 3,000 toward the site improvements and RPZ install, and then 1811 for pavement compaction testing. So I put it in italic because it's not confirmed yet, but I'm hopeful for that. It brings our total cost for the whole project to date to 1.947 million. Our original estimate based on October 2019 minutes was 1.248 million. So the difference, the overage to date, 699,519. And here is showing contributions, anticipated refund from Suez, not including these italic amounts. Our ESD grant, which is a sure thing. And then the EDMP contribution already completed, bringing the IDA's net cost to 1173. In our original estimate of IDA contribution 676.5, difference 497, 492. This includes all changes, hopefully.
I gotta get a job doing this kind of stuff.
When is this project done? When can people move in?
Well, we're pushing always,
Just-
pushing, hopeful by the end of the year.
Sorry.
So the
Is everything paved? Is all that done that was supposed to be?
paving's done with the exception of the home leasing parking lot, little area that we left.
The
around
suburban
test
size
street. Yes,
patch, yeah.
exactly. Thank you.
That's all I think of when
Exactly.
you say that.
Yes. So besides that, yes,
Okay, good,
yep.
all
And
right.
guide rail and gate are being ordered and scheduled to install. The testing on the main water occurs tomorrow. They'll be sampling it. They filled it for the last few days.
So people are filling out the applications and trying to lease.
Oh, they have a waiting list on all units. And
do.
people have actually been contacting me and Leanne and home leasing, asking why they're not yet ready to let them move in and, waiting all these months and,
I see.
when will it
Right.
be ready? So fielding a lot of those calls on all ends,
Hmm.
eager residents.
We have a gauge of where a lot of these people are coming from, or?
I don't.
I don't know.
The two I spoke to are one's in Binghamton currently and one's in Tioga County. I mean, I always spoke to two.
Curious. You
Yeah.
Right.
Me too, I'd be curious.
know.
I always got the impression that people were interested in living there who want to sell their house and not maintain it anymore and like live in Florida half the year.
Mm.
Kind of thing, you know?
Well, I bet you the percentage is a lot more people that are 12 months out of the year and doing it because of the rent control and
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. A lot of those folks aren't gonna just, you have to go to Florida because.
Right, well, they might for a little bit, but they don't have to maintain a house. I think that's a big factor. Older people don't want to maintain the properties anymore.
And we don't build that kind of stuff.
So hold up. What's the hold up now?
It's been a slew of coordination, so it's between the scope constantly changing. Veolia and Fagan not having determined it ahead of time, always redetermining what's acceptable and what's required, and it's just been a constant renegotiation and rescheduling, and Robinson has to pull their guys off because the scope isn't determined, then they have to schedule a mobilize to come back, so they thought they'd be done a long time ago, and sometimes they're very fluid for us and patients change course often, and other times they're kind of like, you kicked us off the job and we can't come back Monday. We'll be back next week
Yeah, well, you can't,
or next week. So
start the process by stalling the process and then complain about it later. So my sympathy's all gone with Robinson. You have another name? I'm
Veolia.
talking about these guys.
Veolia, I hate them guys.
All right, then. And we're gonna think real hard the next time we go through this process.
Well, it's the same with Suez.
With
I mean,
employers,
it's always
right?
been an issue, you know?
So they have or haven't tested the water?
So the water main has to be filled. So this is one of the changes. Originally, we thought we could fill the main and fill the tank, and both companies, Aquastore and Robinson, could do their testing simultaneously. It was determined that first we have to test the main before they'll open up the tank to be susceptible to what germs may be in there. So the water main is being tested tomorrow. Sampling will come back. And then
Then
once
they'll
it's,
fill the tank,
once it's,
if it's clear.
if it's cleared,
I wonder how long it'll take to fill the tank.
2 days.
2 days, wow.
They have to
You
do
can
it.
just pull it out
Quite-
forever. Yeah.
That's an awful lot of water poured in there in 2 days. That's a big
Stick it
tank.
in the side of the hill where all the water.
But you know what? We're providing the chlorine. There you go.
It's
We're buying the chlorine.
all springs, right? Spring water.
All right,
Next,
does that answer your question, Aaron? The same old, same old?
Yeah, it's getting close though.
Nothing's changed.
My feeling is keep the pressure on, don't let up.
Well, I think everybody is.
Yeah, keep on,
Mhm.
because otherwise, this person says, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Or this person says,
there's no,
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
there's no doubt about it.
For 6 months.
I know we have.
but they
There's
don't
no
care.
doubt, Leanne and I kind of share hassling different entities and asking them, did they order the materials yet? Like, what's the status? And
Do they have street lights up there?
They do.
But that's another little bill.
I thought maybe.
Nice egg.
The nice seg requires a form from the village, because ultimately the village will own the road.
Mhm.
And the village will not fill out the form that's needed so that home leasing can test the streetlights until the village actually owns the road. So we have to have the road dedication done before home leasing can even test the lights, because we can't get the form because the village refuses to fill out the form for next time.
The issue is, I mean, you're gonna do all this water testing, you talk about having to use the water, they're gonna have COs even close to ready for being able to use water.
Well, we've got the health department lined up to do a speed, because what happens from here is once the testing is done tomorrow, you know, we wait for those test results to come back, and then you take the test results with a form and a certification and as-built and all these things, goes to the health department, who then reviews it and has to issue the actual okay to go. So we've got the health department lined up to say, we'll do a quick turnaround on that once we get the stuff. We've got everybody marching in the right direction. Fagan's completing the as-bills. Veolia's completing the certification forms. You know, we'll wait for the test results to come back. So we've got everybody lined up. Now, if that test comes back and fails, we start again.
Mhm,
And now we're off another couple of weeks at least.
mhm.
So if the village doesn't take the road officially, can they still put people in there?
Well, we ran into this with the Weagle Gardens one, where the village said, we got down to the end, and then the village said, no, we're not gonna take the road. And that became a legal battle. And ultimately, the village took the road. Now, the understanding with this development has always been, and the village has been part of that conversation, that they will take this road. So, you know, we're just going by what we've been told, but you know how that goes.
Who in the village are you dealing with?
Well, that would be code enforcement, so it's.
That changes from,
And it's changed since the start of the
yeah,
project.
right?
So they, at one point, after everything was built, came back and said, you know, we don't like the fire access, you're gonna have to put fire access road in. When we had a building permit and plans reviewed and everything that said it's gonna be built this way, and that's how they built it. And they came back after it was built and said, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work, we had to put fire access road in. So we had that battle, which in the end, finally, the village did say, well, it's okay as it's built. But every step of the way is a battle on what they do.
Everybody got to tell you how tough they are. Yeah.
Who's the boss?
Okay,
Oh, you
Thank
think
you.
you're in charge? Let me show you who's in charge. That's what's going on. Every step of the way.
next time, Tracy, you got it. If there's ever a next time.
Yeah. We're gonna remember.
Never build a building.
Yeah, thank you.
Onward, we
Yeah.
have a, the DRI,
Die on that.
what?
I said move on before we die on that.
So the DRI project, the HCR project for business and facade downtown improvements is under the IDA. We received our first set of reimbursements. Brittany Woodburn manages these projects with the help of EDMP staff. So we received the first two reimbursements, one for Home Central, one for Sheer Paradise, her first disbursement, and that came with the associated administration fee.
Sheer paradise or seller? Well, I look at
The
that.
seller, gosh, thank
Good
you,
say.
thank you. So
Hell's going up in here, but
$19,664.40 we received for admin fee this time. The total admin fee will be at least $98,322. It will likely increase when they receive the additional funds from HCR for the museum's project. So it's been kicked around a lot whether or not the IDA would be willing to assign this administrative fee to EDMP as the recipient, or if they would like to keep it. And
Say
now
that
that
again.
many times the topic was discussed if this administrative fee would be paid over to EDMP for their administration of all projects. We never came to a full conclusion as an IDA entity what to do about that. So now that we've received the first payout and we're holding that admin fee, I'm bringing it up for final conclusion on what to do with these funds.
I think that since EDMP is managing it, they should have the funds. I think that's only fair. But that's just off the top of my head.
After 200. I'm not saying no. It's
Wow, I
just,
don't know.
again, it's this. Why did,
Yeah, sure.
bear with me. Why didn't you guys manage it? Because you can't,
No.
Structure that
even
way,
though
we
it's
had to-
your people. You see, this is the part that,
I know, it gets
they're
convoluted.
people that are doing the work for you.
On
Us,
behalf of the IDA.
on behalf of the.
But we've had the money, we've sat on the money.
Well,
But
the-
if they're
Right, right, right.
managing
No, I
it,
know
they should
that.
get the money.
They did the work.
There's
That's
no
right.
problem with this, right, Joe? With us.
Like,
So do they,
we're-
We can, we're administrative.
Mhm.
okay,
We're basically
You're the-
hands off.
We're a pass through.
Yeah.
Mhm. We were the
Absolutely.
entity eligible to apply.
And most of these require a municipality. And under the general municipal law, we are a municipality. It's hard to think of us that way, but in reality, that's why these things end up in our lap.
but isn't the county a municipality?
Yeah.
But we can't,
I don't know
They
what
can't
I
manage
don't know what the prohibitions are county-wise to them doing. I just know that we can and often do. That's how we end up.
So when the DRI application was made, we came to this board and said, would it be okay if we made
oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
IDA the entity?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that. I'm trying to understand,
Why didn't you go right through the ED?
right,
But they
It-
could,
So if you
Because you
think back about the DRI, they didn't allow on the regional council,
Right,
remember,
right, right.
I was not permitted to have any part in it. No,
Right.
we're gonna take my vote away as a county person, right, as an IDA person. So the state, for whatever reason, wanted that separation between county and.
okay, so it
Whatever
isn't
entity.
always that way?
Not always, depends on the grant source
Okay,
and the rules for that particular grant
okay,
varies.
so that.
So the IDA doesn't have any role in this except to accept the money,
Correct.
so
Right.
I don't see a problem.
They're the
with putting
agency
money-
that can receive.
I don't see a problem with giving the money to the EMP and to the county.
Because know that ultimately, and just so everybody here understands, that money coming back does not go into the ED&P budget.
No.
It goes into the county general fund.
Right.
But yes, it's not
Really?
counted against my budget. It goes back to the county.
It goes
general fund.
into all of our monies.
I know, but it
We're all
dilutes,
taxpayers.
it dilutes me
We
though.
are all taxpayers, everybody in this room.
well, you could say, okay, we want, 5% of it or something after the IDA.
Or administering,
Yeah, and then move the rest all to the county.
Yeah.
that's fine with me too, I'm okay with that. But
That's
I'm,
not a huge amount. but-
no, and the county's not sitting there going, gosh, I hope we sure get that money pretty soon.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
I didn't.
Everybody.
Oh, no, I didn't. It's just that,
You might be, but the rest of us aren't.
the devil is always in the details, trying to understand how these systems work.
Right,
And
agreed.
they're all different.
I see no reason.
So
to
you need
So, let me, what is the total of this night?
Yeah. could be.
She's got 18,664. It's gonna be more than that. It's gonna be 98 plus another probably 23,000.
Mhm.
200.
So
really-
5% would be somewhere around $500.
Oh, yeah,
And really,
we're not talking huge money here.
No.
but how
No,
many,
what
how
do you
many
mean the
checks, I
person-
mean, you gotta,
I have to
Cut-
look
cut
at
and
the
coordinate
account,
the
receipt
checks.
it, cut the checks, coordinate, deliver them.
And
all
I
that
find
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
money that goes in,
I mean, I probably spent an hour or two total
unless you want to
coordinating,
sign this one.
cutting checks.
I can do that. I mean, she can
So it
bring it over
doesn't, so it doesn't look like,
the count. You're
saying.
you're right.
You're saying yourself. Well, you figure it out. I mean, is 5% enough? Or you want 10%? Tell me what you guys. think.
No percent. I say we should just do it and
I don't think,
not be convoluted.
I don't think that 0% is right. She's doing something for it.
Yeah,
she
She
is.
just said she is, so
No,
she should,
so that's-
the IDA should get something for that.
How many credits was it again?
Yeah, I mean,
Not that.
I don't even know. It's Brit, this is Brit's project and I could pull up records, I hold
Well, it's just
records.
you're at the very beginning, so I mean, it'd be good to have an understanding of how many checks you're talking over what period of time.
Actually, I haven't looked at these in perspective.
Yeah, some of these
When do we
are
get a
progress
gas lab?
payments, so you'll have more than one per project and.
The other is, I mean, yeah.
Pull it up.
We're doing work.
When did
this
this
makes
get
me reimburse those work.
We're not usually,
Got announced
But
in
yeah,
August
folks, you're
28th.
doing work as well.
there you go.
That's not-
So it's been 4 years, it's just got a check. So how long do you think it's gonna be before we get on the last check? 9 more years?
They're starting to move now.
Yeah.
Well, mine's not there.
Well, 5% is pretty small amount.
Yeah.
So
It is.
I agree.
I mean, that's a small amount, that's reasonable.
Who wants to agree on 5%?
Uh,
I do.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, I'm doing it, since Warren stops talking about it.
5% of every.
I wanna put this on. Middle.
This is being recorded now.
5%. We're
That's a
talking
total
5%, makes everybody happy.
So just make it easy, this county gets 95%. There you go.
Right.
Yep.
Just make sure Stephanie belongs
Do we
in.
need a motion for that?
I think we absolutely do.
I'll make it a motion.
How about second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I can understand.
Can we even vote on that if we get the money?
95% of it you get.
Okay.
5% the idea.
The county.
Do you want,
Just read it.
you want the legislators to abstain? I got 4 votes
Okay.
there.
Ask the boss down there.
The legislators need to abstain,
Yeah.
Joe? No, there you
You
go.
don't have a person.
No, I don't.
You know?
It's taxpayer interest.
Right.
We should all be.
We all, and with the same interest everyone else. has.
Right, okay.
Really? Yep.
All right.
All right,
Wow, okay.
moving on.
We'll resolve that.
Next on the agenda is the resolution. It's an inducement resolution formally acknowledging and accepting the application from Best Bev for a pilot agreement. It would authorize our ability to hold a public hearing and write a cost benefit analysis and address all the taxing municipalities, asking for their input. And then once all that would be completed, we make our final vote. So they're asking for the Waverly Trade Center to basically pay 0 at year 1 and increase 10% over 10 years. I'll show you the bottom line, and Joe's been.
And this, they've described this as a standard pilot, but it clearly is. Because what we're doing is we're taking the existing taxes and running them down to 0. Which ordinarily what we do, you have a piece of raw land. You're gonna, let's take that medical situation, you're building a building. We're gonna phase in the new taxes. In this case, there's an existing building. Is there 1 or 2? There's something, there's an existing structure that's on the tax roll. And what they're requesting is that we take that down to 0, then phase in the taxes at 10%. Which is our standard. It's our, not our standard policy, but our standard rate. But ordinarily, we don't run the taxes backwards down to 0. At some point, I think the yearly taxes are like 90,000,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
you're basically taking 90,000 off the table in exchange for 10,000 or 9,000. They are doing improvements, but it didn't look to me like they're improvements that would in any way, shape or form address the assessment. They aren't increasing the square footage or anything like that. So the taxes, well, in all likelihood, remain the same in spite of whatever improvements. It's kind of interesting because they're not, apparently there's no request for a mortgage tax.
They're leasing.
They're leasing. And,
Sales tax.
How
the,
many years?
Sales tax.
10 years.
10 years with option to extend.
So we're doing a pilot for 10 years and their lease is only for 10 years?
10-year lease with option, 5-year extension options.
And they're not well, I don't know if they're asking, but they really don't need a sales tax exemption because this is all manufactured, or at least the vast majority. of it. Doesn't have sales. So it's a deviation from our standard policy.
How many jobs they had? Oh,
65.
So here's your total. When we project, we just assume a 2% tax rate increase every year. So total estimated 100% taxes over 10 years is 1.083 million. Total estimated over 10 years at a pilot, 563,407.
And what would they be if you left the taxes the same as what they are now?
1,083,000.
So that is the figure that they would pay.
Yeah,
If we don't give them a pilot.
at an estimation.
So I would just like to remind everybody that the inducement resolution is not an approval. All it's doing is saying we accept this application and allow us to set the public hearing. Allow Christine to do cost benefit analysis where you'll have all these numbers.
Do we need a motion for that?
Well, you need a motion to, traditionally, we've had a motion to accept the application and authorize the agency to set the public hearing. You need a resolution to set the public hearing. So it doesn't set the time, and obviously there's going to be some time lag here because you're gonna have to speak with the municipalities and let them know, and they must have some idea about this, don't they? I mean, it's been in front of the planning board, it's been in front of the zoning board.
Yes, so the village is aware of it. I don't know
Village.
that the school is aware. Don't really know how aware the county is of it.
Or nothing of a pilot. I know about the project.
there's lots of games.
Who set this? This is their proposal, or did you guys do this?
I made that.
And additionally, there's not been any discussion. First of all, the application is not complete. There's a lot missing from it. I don't know that has there been any discussion with the company about something other than going to 0 and increasing by 10%? Has there been any discussion with them about that?
No, I, in light of not wanting to encourage anything above standard, just told them what the standard pilot is, going from 0 to 100 over 10 years, and shared that with them. And I kind of had a sense that based on what I've heard in the past, that the board might not want to take this off the tax rolls, but I figured I would let them, decide, and happy to be a median and push this application forward for consideration.
Right, so it's my understanding, we're just looking for the public hearing, more information, more discussion.
Well, the application's
We'll
got to
talk
be.
about the numbers, right? If the application is
not
not even
there or-
complete yet.
But this is not their idea, this was your idea.
It was not my idea. This was requested from me
From
to
Best Buy?
provide to them.
Well, as Joe said, this is a standard. If it was a piece of bare ground that you start to build something. The only difference is there's $90,000 a year on it today. And they're looking to act like it's.
Well,
bare ground
I
that
don't
we're
think,
starting from
to be
nothing.
frank, I don't think they understood.
Right,
They
all right. Well,
took this shot at it.
we have time to make them understand all those things. And really what we're trying to get to right now is
Get an
the
application.
ability to have a public hearing if we get to that point.
Mhm.
We need the application, but we need a motion to accept.
Apply for the.
This
We
resolution
accept
right
it
here.
and make whatever informational requests we have of them going forward to fill out.
Well, we can accept the
resolution,
but we
absolutely.
can accept the application, but the application isn't done. So
It's
we
not
really
complete, so
technically can't do
it's not-
anything at this
Yeah,
point.
correct.
Except say, go ahead and fill out the application and then we'll go
Yeah,
from there.
if the application is filled out, we can address it again next
So
month.
these folks just they're not savvy with pilots in New York. So
Right.
you're starting from
Obviously,
scratch.
you know, they need a talking to.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
I mean, because it sounds like it's such easy, you know, you can make it up as you go here.
You want me to get my mom involved?
She'll go talk to them.
We'll speak to
What kind of incentive on taxes would you be willing to entertain at all? I guess in reality, I thought you would, in the end, not want an incentive.
I mean, obviously, you'd almost want to take, I don't know if it's appropriate to ask, I mean, you normally get a copy of a lease in a situation like this to make sure that obviously they're getting the.
Yeah, and in fact, we're going to have to involve the owner,
Right.
because in reality.
It's
they
they're
have to
getting the
be
tax break.
Part of the,
Right,
the.
Best
benefit
Bev is not,
goes-
Best Bev's not getting any benefit from
Well,
it. It's the.
Well,
Only in the
no,
lease.
it's gonna be a triple net lease, so they're gonna end up paying, but in reality, the benefit goes
The
to
property.
Barbers.
farmers.
Mhm.
Well, I don't like the idea of them not paying anything.
Well, again, I mean, you could go,
I
I
don't
mean,
think
appeal
that
it back and
would
say, I mean, this is peanuts, but make them pay normal tax on the land. On the land.
Or, I mean, you could just do, this is a deviation
Right,
from a standard policy. This, and we have done this before, as Christine reminded me. We did something of this sort with regard to the dog food place, or
Midwestern.
the pet food place,
In Barton, yeah.
in Martin. But it's certainly, pardon?
No.
Not
did
pilot
that.
two, the original one before mine.
Oh, the first one. Because the second one, we said we won't do, we said exactly this. We won't take this property off the tax roll and
Yeah.
take it back to zero.
Right.
Again, I don't get the sense that they really know what they're asking and how far off the mark this is from what we ordinarily do. It is, you know, it is 65 jobs, which in the town of village like Waverly is a big deal. But
So if we approve this resolution, we didn't do anything except say, you can fill out the application and then we go. Okay.
But
But
that
they need to,
doesn't fill
they need
out.
to complete the application.
Well, they,
Yeah,
so,
no problem.
Well, we can't approve that until they fill it out, right?
so
well,
they,
you can accept it and ask for more information. It's
Hmm.
the accepting of I mean, to be perfectly frank, you can't turn an application down. You know, you can't say, we're not accepting your application.
it's
You
not
can
filled
say, we've received your application,
It's
we've
not done
reviewed it,
correctly.
and we're not approving.
Yeah, you need to get your act together and finish it.
Right.
I would note, however, in this resolution, the property address is incorrect. Not 830 Talmud Pool Road,
okay.
it's 685 Broad Street Extension.
Where do we get this?
Oh,
That might be Barber's official address.
Yeah, that's where he
Property
lives.
address.
That's where he lives.
yeah.
The place you're talking about is that one where they have the wreck down there.
You know, we're talking about 685 Broad
Yeah.
Street.
685 Broad Street Extension.
Okay, just making sure.
Right on here, on here.
Well, let me ask, is there,
Well,
is there any immediacy about this that would require it to be accepted tonight? Sometimes you can just move it
To the next meeting.
the next meeting
And
and.
tell them to get their application done.
So this has all kind of been certainly a project under Leanne's site, and they've said that he complimented Leanne for encouraging him for ESD grant work, etc. He's very grateful for Leanne's assistance so far in enticing them to come. They just submitted their final application Monday. We haven't had time, I haven't had time to get back to them with what they need to revise or complete. That's not complete yet, but we can do that over.
Well, it seems to me like this whole thing's premature.
Yep.
That's what it seems.
Let's
to me.
address it again in December.
There you go.
Are you aware of timeline constrictions on this? I'm not aware.
No. You won't know, we're hoping to know on the ESD. See, then you start to get into if they're gonna do it anyway, but we hope to know on the ESD capital grant. Anytime now, we thought we'd know by now, certainly before the election, but, you know. Hopefully, any time now we'll know on the ESD grant. If you all are okay with moving it forward, knowing that they probably gonna get the grant and that they've got a signed lease and, you know, they start to get into that, well, you're gonna do it anyway. I don't know where you all stand with that. Additionally, I don't know, were you gonna have Christine negotiate on what the should look like? I mean, how do you wanna handle that?
Right. I think before we write a cost benefit analysis and move it forward for municipality talks and public hearing, we should know what the board consider entertaining, or there's no point writing it up, right?
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna make a fool of yourself.
I
Well,
mean,
they're gonna do it anyway. I
But
don't
that's
know.
not really fair if you delay them a month.
Well, there's so many issues here. They haven't filled out the application. They want us to,
they did. It's
approved,
462 pages.
but it's not done. You just said the application's not complete.
There's a lot of missing information.
So they didn't do the application. If you go to the bank for a loan and you fill out an application and you leave off half the shit, they're not gonna let you get the loan.
So we need to
That's-
table it until they get it together and fill out the application correctly.
We could vote on this via email at some point. It's not a big deal. We don't have to make a decision tonight. We can make a decision in a week
Okay.
via email, as long as we see.
Somebody did some work and did the rest of the application.
I agree with Marty though. I have a little problem with starting at zero, going from 90,000.
Yeah, me too.
Now,
Well, again, I think this is a matter where they have taken a standard policy and applied it in a way that it doesn't
different,
apply.
it's different.
That doesn't mean you can't,
So how do you make
I
them
agree with
understand?
you. I believe, but in my
you
opinion.
give them a good talking.
Yeah, but who's doing that?
That
You
should be
gonna give it to them?
Well,
Christine's gonna have to have a check, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, take on council, you
Well,
know.
Leanne was gonna say something. Go ahead.
Well, in my opinion, yes, they need to, I know it's 465 pages, but the application itself has some holes, and I think they need to generally can kind of help with figuring out what the holes are, figuring out that it actually is a deviation from the standard pilot and not standard, and have a discussion about how they might want to structure it to come back to the board.
So that it would get approved.
Yes, that would be my suggestion. I think I had talk with them,
Yeah.
talk with them, figure out, some kind of a compromise from here that might be agreeable. That's what I would do.
Well, this is within your purview and your purview. Have at it.
let's go.
And
Let's move
I
on.
think I don't know if I'm correct, you indicated this, that barbers that are on board,
Yeah, they are,
they're gonna have to be part of the application.
they are on board. They're very strong proponents of the project. Have been at all the planning board meetings to kind of watch.
Sure, he wants to rent his property. He's gonna have.
They have been there, so they can help them. But it's on you
You
to-
wanna get Barbara on board. It's the conflict of interest, you.
All the way around. And that's something that at some point we need to talk about, but the pending legislature that actually already passed legislation having to do with conflict of interest of board members.
Who are we
Yeah, we'll all
talking,
talk
who are
about
we talking?
A potential replacement for Aaron.
Oh,
Or even existing board members and what this current already approved legislation impact will be to board members. Gotta be having that conversation with Broome County too. And they're looking at amendment to that legislation, because basically what it does is it ties an IDA board's hands to having anybody that has anything to do in the community participating on the board.
Knocks everybody off the board.
It does. Knocks John off, it would knock you off, it would definitely knock you guys off. So,
So who's on the idea?
I guess not many.
So,
Well,
like,
the other
homeless
thing is,
people?
what about the law?
You gotta be a homeless person to be on the IDA.
You exist because the county says you do, and there will be 2 county execs on, or county legislators on your board.
No,
there's nothing in the bylaws on that.
it's not.
I looked
Not
it up and there's
ours?
not.
No.
I reached out.
It sounded really good, Marty. I mean, I was blown away.
That was a decision made by the appointing body, not in the IDA bylaws.
It's not in the IDA bylaws, definitely. not.
Well, I was talking about county.
So,
No,
I think it can-
one legislator on the board always, but then there was a time that they wanted two.
So they had to be done by resolution is the point I'm trying to get to, the legislative side, not on the IDA side.
Well, the legislature passes a resolution appointing IDA board members, so ultimately, yes.
We'll find that out tomorrow.
You might have to dig back a ways, you know. 'cause
Yeah,
those-
there used to be one, and Leon,
Oh,
and
and
then-
Peter Ward was on,
yeah,
Dale Weston was on,
yeah. And then Walt Johnson was on,
Mike,
Mike Roberts,
Mike Roberts.
and Will Overback.
yeah, that wasn't very long. No,
I was on it one time before, then I stepped away and then you recruited me back.
We did.
Yeah.
Back.
That's because,
So at this point, what are you going to do? Are you going to pass a resolution and say we need more information coming back, or are you gonna hold on doing anything and come back next month?
I say sit on it and hold.
Well, I just want to see something different than this.
So you can vote by email.
Yes, and you can talk to them in the meantime.
I will.
Okay.
Now, what is something entertainable to you? So capping it at current 2023 rate and freezing it there for 10 years, so they at least omit the tax increase for 10 years? That's like the most minimal incentive I can think of. Or do we start at 50 and raise it 5% for 10 years?
Is this the only facility in this building complex or whatever it is?
I believe so. Is this the Ingersoll Rand place? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's the Iroquois Foundry.
I can't picture it. I'm
Right on
sorry.
the corner of Broad Street Extension and
What would be town facility?
Donnelly, what was it?
William Donnelly. Iroquois.
Right up the road from our bank branch.
Right across from
Blood
Industrial.
Funeral Home.
So I could prepare like maybe 5 options, alternative to this, send it out to you, gather your thoughts before having a negotiation conversation with them. And I really like to know if anything is entertainable here before it's
Does it
Recommended.
seem odd, you know? Just looking for information that we're taking
not me.
a building that someone else has acquired and is now spiffing it up to lease it, which is commerce, in my opinion.
Who's owning
Now we're
this?
looking to drop the
Nice
taxes
phones, right?
considerably. I mean,
I thought this would be a hard no.
yeah, the triple net lease thing, in my opinion, if the owner's getting compensated, these guys have already agreed to a lease or not?
I'm trying to figure out where.
They signed it. Now I asked them that and they said, well, we could always walk away.
Well, they've already signed a lease,
This is the.
and so the benefit is strictly to Barbara at this point.
Well, they're
No,
responsible for the
It's
taxes
a
by
triple
their
net
lease.
lease.
So the-
Tenant's responsible for tax.
Right, but they've already signed the lease.
Right, but if they can get the taxes reduced,
The benefit is to the
the
company.
benefit is to the company, not to Barbara.
And their justification for requesting this is that they could walk away and go back to their PA plant and expand there instead, or B, they could alternatively hire more employees, be more successful here with this spend. That's their justification for requesting this
So,
from the board.
so what if, you know, you say, okay, we're gonna reduce it down to half of what it is now and start from there. I mean, to go to zero is like,
That's,
That is
okay,
so.
well,
that's absolutely more than fair, in my opinion.
yeah, I do too. You know, but this. And then, but if you start at the 90,000 that they're paying now, it's not helping now.
It's,
Yeah.
it's no benefit.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, we're gonna reduce it by half, and then it's gonna go up every
For the
10
next
years.
10
By how much? At the end of the 10 years, they should be paying full
Yeah.
stipend.
That's,
You do
I would get into the regular schedule, 10% a year.
Well, that'd be 5 years, or we could do 10 years, 5%.
Well, they could start at half and 10% of whatever the difference.
Mhm.
So you're saying like a 5-year pilot instead of, I'm just trying to make sure.
No, I think it would be a 10-year pilot, but the benefit would be, end up being half of what it would be
Mhm.
under this schedule.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not 5%,
Right.
it's still 10%,
Ten
but it's
percent each.
10% of a smaller amount.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
I think you'd have an easier time getting approval from
Yeah, the
county school.
Yeah, they're,
They gotta pay something.
yeah, you guys can just see the schools going, yeah, we'll take zero.
Eric picked the wrong meeting, not to,
Mm,
Right,
You would certainly have something to say.
I'm sure.
I think that would be a great place to start. 50%.
Good, so we passed that. What's next?
Okay.
Wait a minute, so, I'm sorry. I gotta get back to this resolution. Are we saying we're going to accept an application and be permitted to set a public hearing if Christine can work with them on completing this application and coming back with a proposal or deviated pilot starting at 50%?
Well, this
I'm good with
resolution,
that.
this resolution says we're accepting an application. Application is not complete.
Technically, I'm aware of many times it seems like a lot of additional information was gathered along the whole course of
This is getting
review.
complicated. We need
Well,
to
this,
make a
this is
decision.
very simple.
Is-
It's an
Is
application.
there any, potentially any of this information in the additional 400 pages?
There's very likely could be, yes.
That would be my thought, that most of it, we've never, on some levels, I've never seen an application
That's
this
complete.
complete. Okay.
Yes, it is 462 pages of supporting documentation.
So I'll get all the, if you're all comfortable and if you want to
Fill
put
in
it.
the
Or
for the
if you want to
time
make the resolution that the agency be authorized to set a public hearing once staff is convinced that we have the requisite
Completed
information
application.
in the application.
Mhm.
That way you can continue to move it forward. and not-
Yes. I'd be okay with that.
So that
How about
document
first?
that says all our names on there, this is not the one we're voting on.
No,
First,
This is
I'll,
the new
I'll,
one.
I'll redo this.
For Joe's
Uh,
language.
It's gonna be reworded a little bit.
Reword.
yeah,
With the right address.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so are we done with this now?
All right.
Are we-
We're not doing anything tonight. We're gonna do.
No,
Sing it tonight.
I'm
motion.
making a motion, and Joe's gonna be making a motion, and I'm
Now Megan's gotta write this down, so we have to make sure she knows what we just got.
Okay, Joe, read off our resolution as revised with your better language.
Resolution authorizing the agency to set a public hearing upon receipt of the necessary information to complete the application presently submitted.
There you
But I
go.
know that's better.
You get all that, man?
Can I get a
I'll listen
second?
to it tomorrow.
People do
Record this.
stuff.
Second, all right, we got a first and second, move on quick.
Aye.
Opposed.
I don't wanna get buried in the weeds on the pilots, but the pilot that we approved for Matthews,
Yeah,
I mean, how long do they have to make a decision on breaking ground over there? Because it sounds like that's dramatically delayed.
is that Lord's you're talking about?
Yeah, but
Right.
totally grown in.
I asked
At
him
this
for
point.
updates, he doesn't even respond.
Oh,
My understanding is that
I will rattle Howard.
You're gonna push them,
Redbird's cage.
push.
Yeah, because in fact, I've done all the documents
I know.
and I submitted them to them already. And I'd rather redo them for 2023.
not talking to her.
2020
retired.
That one.
You'll definitely be retired before we get a week of Bernard's done.
Oh.
Don't
I
say
don't
that.
wanna be, I wanna-
Oh,
We gotta have a ribbon cutting.
let's go. Let's move on.
We'll be here 5 years from now.
What else do you have to report there, Christine?
I have nothing further. So sales tax, all within the authorized limit. Grants still pending, waiting for responses, including the Richford Railroad FEMA grant we applied for a year ago. And that's all I have for regular session.
You know something, I would like to make a motion to move into executive session because I do have Just a couple of little odds and ends to discuss.
All right.
Could I have a motion, please?
Make that
How about a second?
Second.
All right,